what you are able to see with your own eyes then reflects onto your abundant living. But let me say this as well. It can also happen with negative things. So when it comes to abundant living, we've got to be careful what we're feeding our mind. Because if we feed negativity, if we feed negative emotions, then that's what we're going to live out, and that's what we're going to see manifesting in the world around us. Okay? So I have a morbid fear. Well, I shouldn't say morbid because I won't die, but I really have a fear of caterpillars, small worms. They can be even as small as this, but when I was a teenager or a young girl, my siblings would take a caterpillar, put in their hand like this, and then come and say, Jackie, let us give you something. And then they'll drop a worm, and they would die of laughter watching me howl, scream out, cry out, because a small caterpillar was put in my hand. And to date, if anybody comes to me and tells me I want to give you something and they've got a closed fist like this, I refuse. It could be gold, it could be a diamond, it could be money. I say no. I need to see your hand open to know what is in there before lest you put something that is creepy and crawly in my hand. And truth be told, I could squash it and it's dead, really. I can't even peel peas, because when I peel peas, we all peel peas and we find inside peas is one or two, worms that are sitting eating. I throw that whole bucket away. I'm telling you, if I see just even a small one like this, that's how I feel about it. And it affects the way I handle certain things. I don't receive gifts from a closed fist. I rarely shell peas because I know I will find one. So even if the whole batch of 100 peas are good, just one will make me not shell the peas. It's a negative emotion that controls the way I see and do certain things. Now, let me put that in perspective. There's a new business that has really been pushed in Kenya by the Japanese, the nation of Japan and the Japanese embassy here in Kenya, and that is silkworm farming. Because they are telling Kenyans that they want Kenyans. We've got the mulberry trees here, we've got the space environment, we've got the manpower, and they're saying we need to go into mulberry farming, to the point that they even had someone embedded in the office, someone from Japan, embedded in the office of the president to ensure that Kenyans get into silk farming. I was told this story by the person who was involved, who was actually in charge of this from the Kenyan side, and said, Jackie, are you interested? I mean, silk, this is an expensive material. It is worldwide, it's needed, it's natural. We can set you up. We can, get you a little place. You don't have much space. We can get you the worms. Hey, he mentioned that one word, worms. I said, it's all right. I can remain poor. It's okay. Me dealing with worms. But you see, my fear of a simple, soft, insect caused me to let go of an opportunity that could possibly have brought me, myself, my family, my community, abundance in wealth. So one of the things we need to be careful of is what we hold on to ourselves as a negative emotion that then produces a negative outworking in our body. So when we look at the word abundant, that word comes from the word abound. Abundant comes from the word abound. And what abound means, it means excessively over and above. Excessively over and above. So, for example, an abundant life is not about having more of everything, more money, a bigger house. We will talk about those things when you do the class. You are learning about managing your finances. You will learn about real estate. You will learn about taking, loans and all that. But it's got nothing to do in its essence about having more of these things, about having a bigger house than your neighbor. It's not having, a freezer full of meat and no food. I remember last year during the pandemic, everybody went out crazy. And they went and they bought tissue paper like mad. There was no tissue paper. They bought food. They bought all manner of stuff. Why? Because there was a feeling that things were going to go bad and they're going to run out. Abundance is not about what you can acquire or what you can have. Abundance of life is having more of what you feed yourself with. That's the abundant life. An abundant life is having more of what you want to do for others. So when I used to teach the class, I used to talk about what is your why. Why do you want these things? Why do you want to have more money? Why do you want to have a bigger house? You know, I heard of somebody who built a house that cost 180 million Kenya shillings up in Kitale, not Nairobi, Kitale. 180 million shillings, massive mansion. And the man has one child and they live abroad. If that house was built so that it can be used as a home for homeless children, so that it can be used as a place, as a getaway house for, abused women, so that it can be used as a place for retreat, having a purpose beyond just having a big house is some of the things that each of us will have to think through when we're thinking about the why. Why do we want all these things? An abundant life, my friends, as I said, is in the mind, but it begins in your heart. It begins in the place where you consider others people's lives, other people's well-being, what is going on in someone else's life. That's where your abundant life begins, in your heart, and it plays out in your mind. It consists of the quality of our relationships, how you relate to those around you. That's part of an abundant life. You don't want to be sitting on top of the hill and you're the only person there. Everybody else can't get to you. So abundant living is what you have in your mind. It begins in your heart, but it also encompasses the relationships around us. So I wish each and every one of you an abundant life right now. That I want to declare that over you, that you will have an abundant life. But part of that journey will take place when you sign up for this course.